Hi, today we're going to talk about the hip flexors and how they are related to your parkour training. What are the hip flexors? Iliopsoas. If there was ever an anatomical name I would like you as a parkour practitioner to remember, it is the iliopsoas. The muscle group is attached 4 lower vertebrae in your back, travels through the body and is attached to the hip bone. Right? So from here, through your body and there. This muscle group allows you to do this and that. So on that note, don't ever put your feet underneath your bed and do sit-ups because you're not using your abs. You are more than likely using you're contracting your hip flexors. So how would stretching your hip flexors benefit parkour? Well, not stretching your hip flexors can actually cause a myriad of problems. Lower back pain being a very common one, knee pain being another. This muscle group is very powerful and it's also overused in actually most human beings, and because of their strength and tightness it can actually pull your pelvis out of position forward, or we tend to have one side stronger than the other, so you can have a shift in the pelvis causing you to, and that can actually ricochet all the way up the body. You can have a shoulder problem because of tight hip flexors, so actually not stretching the hip flexors isn't worth it, I would say. So before I show you the stretch, I'm going to show you a little move that will hopefully help you get the most out of the hip flexor stretch. So you're going to lie down on a lovely surface, like this, and imagine that there's a little green bug underneath your lower spine, right there, has to be green, and you're going to try and squash your lower back onto it to kill it. So your pelvis will go from here to there. So what I've done is I've tilted my pelvis, also known as a tuck under. So it goes from there to there, and I want you to remember that movement for when we go into the hip flexor. Okay, so my best hip flexor stretch for you as a parkour practitioner is this one. I want you to take your shoe off because you're going to rest your knee on it. And then you're going to place the knee on the shoe, other leg in front. Angle here is very important. Again, don't have your heel behind your knee because it'll stress your knee, it'll stress the bone at the front. If you dropped a pendulum from the knee and down, you want the pendulum to be just above the heel or behind it. So now, imagine that somebody is pulling your spine up to the ceiling, up to the sky. You keep that length and then you're going to do the tuck under position that I showed you earlier on. So you're going to go from here and you're going to tuck under. But it's really important that as you tuck the pelvis under, that you don't round your back, because anyhow you slouch, you're not going to feel this in your hip flexor. So you go from here, stay tall, squeeze your bum and tuck the pelvis under, and then lean slightly forward. You're literally imagining that you're trying to squeeze your bottom through your hip flexor. And once you've got that, you want to imagine that anything from here and above the hip is being pulled up. Anything from here and below the hip is being pulled down. So you're opening the hip flexor. You're trying to extend the 2 different points of attachment and then lean slightly forward. Hold it for at least 30 to 40 seconds, squeezing the bottom, trying to push through. Then you're going to extend this arm over your head, up this way. You're going to now try and get the stretch to continue up into the abs, because remember the iliopsoas is attached to the back and travels through. So from here, this arm you're going to wedge against the front leg, you're going to press down and spiral up and slightly out while you're leaning forward, and this stretch should now be continuing up into this spot here. Hold again 30-40 seconds, keep stretching up. Go to the other leg, and because they're so powerful and tend to be over tight, go back again. 30-40 seconds on the first leg, 30-40 seconds on the back leg. And that is my best hip flexor stretch for you all. So be strong to be useful and stretch to be free.